Joining me from New York is Yahya Mahmassani, the Arab League's ambassador to the United Nations. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Have you been able to find out any more from Hamas, their reasons for their part, why they have decided to ignore the UN Security Council resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire?
I think the Security Council resolution called for a ceasefire. That's abiding on both parties. And the Security Council resolution must be respected and implemented. This bloodbath by the Israeli authorities and the military machine of Palestinian people must be put to an end. I don't believe this could continue. There is simply no alternative to a ceasefire. This cannot continue.
But as we see on the ground, it is continuing in full force.
Well, it's continuing because the international community has not yet put its full weight on both sides, and specifically on the Israelis, who started the whole devastation in Gaza. Now, what has to be done is some serious engagement, and I think already some engagement is underway now with the Israelis and the Hamas people, and there are initiatives to put the priority of the Security Council resolution first, and this is a ceasefire, and then arrangements to implement the rest of the paragraphs of the resolution.
We have already seen days of diplomatic toing and froing. We've seen the close involvement of the Arab nations that you represent. Yet today, one senior Hamas official in Syria said nobody consulted Hamas or talked to Hamas, nobody put Hamas in the picture, and yet Hamas is required to accept it. This is unacceptable. I mean, what is the point of a UN Security Council resolution if one of the sides expected to comply with it weren't consulted?
You know, I found it rather strange that you emphasize the Hamas side only. You haven't mentioned Israel.
Well, I mean, with respect, Ambassador, we will talk
no comparison. Let me finish. There's no comparison, the proportionality contrast between the Israelis and the Hamas people. Let me say one thing. You know, already now 800 people have been killed, Palestinians. More than 1/3 of them are women and children. What are the casualties on the Israeli side? You know how much? 4. Only 4. There is no proportionality. Israel must, when Israel was admitted to the United Nations, it had the obligation to respect and implement Security Council resolution. Israel must implement and respect the council decision.
With respect, Ambassador, those are questions indeed for the Israeli side, for the Israeli ambassador. I'm asking you as the Arab League ambassador about the Palestinian side of this conflict. I mean, somebody in this conflict needs to take the first step. And when Hamas sees the consequences that you clearly mentioned there for its own people, why does it not simply stop its rocket fire? Israel has said all along, if it does, they could have a ceasefire in 2 hours.
How can those rockets stop when the sky is raining bombs and rockets, when everything on the ground is scorched earth policy? Everything is burned, people, human beings, and even the stones. How can this stop? Israel must stop the work of its brutal, vicious military machine, and this is what's required now. I call on both parties to stop the fighting. I call on both to respect the ceasefire, but Israel's machinery of destruction and, you know, blazing everything on the ground must also be stopped first.
Now, in the next few hours, we're looking ahead to that meeting in Cairo between Mahmoud Abbas and Hosni Mubarak. How much reason do we have to be optimistic about the continuing efforts?
I think there are intensive efforts now going on in Cairo. And we do hope and look forward for, you know, some sort of an arrangement whereby the ceasefire is in place, and then the rest of the paragraph, you know, regarding the installment of the, you know, monitors, and also in addition to the ceasefire, you know, the withdrawal of the Israeli forces and the opening of all the crossing, and so that, you know, those people desperate who are not even dying by bombs are dying by either wounded or starvation. So this has to be urgently, you know, addressed.
Yahya Mahmassani, the Arab League's ambassador to the UN, thank you very much indeed for your time.